Welcome back, guys, to Pirate Talk Radio. I hope everyone's been doing absolutely fantastic. It's been a whirlwind since our last episode because we had Fest of Legends, and there was a lot for me to do to get ready for that. There was a lot, obviously, at the event. I'm sure many of you were there because I got to meet so many folks. My hand was actually cramping up trying to sign stuff for everyone. My voice about went out a couple times, so it was absolutely fantastic. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But if you weren't able to make it to Fest of Legends, you missed an absolutely fantastic event. I hope you were able to watch some of the live stream coverage. I know Mushroom Sauce streamed just about the entire event, so you can go check out Mushroom Sauce's VOD, and you can rewatch quite a bit of the event because he was pretty much streaming everything. So it was actually really nice of him to IRL stream it. Now, obviously, he couldn't stream the competitions because he was walking around with a handy cam, but a lot of the other stuff he was able to stream, and it was absolutely fantastic that he was there to do that. But we are back now. We have recovered. And we're on to season 13, the season of the big ship, the season of the burning blade, which we will talk about at least for the patch notes. I have not had a chance to really play this season. I got a couple hours on stream Saturday, so I got to play a little bit. I got to experience some of the new stuff, but just with a couple hours, I wasn't able. I don't feel like I'm in a position where I can really provide a lot of feedback yet on the season. I know the Burning Blade looks absolutely fantastic. I know the new skeletal camps look absolutely fantastic. Some of the new artwork that they did for this looks just brilliant. Well done to the art team yet again. Doing some new cosmetics in the Emporium, some new cosmetics at the shops. I actually, for once in a very long time, bought something from a shop and am actually using it. I bought some pants, and I bought a new little, it's like a do-rag with some feathers on it that I thought looked really nice with my pirate's look. So for the first time in years, I have actually put some new cosmetics on my pirate. So there you go. It was nice because I don't do that very often. So. But new cosmetics out there, just everything looks absolutely fantastic. So excited to see how this season goes. I did not complete my plunder pass last season. I know people are like, well, why are you complaining that you didn't complete? There's plenty of time to do it. There was plenty of time. But the game was not feeling good to me as far as server stability and things like that. It just wasn't fun to play. Even with my good dear friends that I sail with and things like that, it just wasn't fun to play with all the rubber banding and poor performance. And when a game isn't fun to play because it's just not, it's not the player, it's not the challenge, it's literally the game is fighting against you. It's just not a game that I want to spend a lot of time in. I'm going to always be playing Sea of Thieves because it's one of my favorite games of all time, and obviously I do this show. But when the game is not performing up to its par, I'm not going to spend my time frustrated with the server performance than just to, I can play other games, right? I've been if you follow me on Twitch, you notice I've been playing a lot of EverQuest. It's been really good for my mental health. It's been really good for myself because work has been stressing me out. As I've talked about many times, work has just been kicking my ass, and it's nice to come home and play my favorite game of all time and just chill out and chat to people in chat. I know folks, even Sea of Thieves folks have came in and we've talked Sea of Thieves while I've just been chilling and killing stuff. So it's been really nice. But let's dive into Sea of Thieves Fest first before I ramble too much more. First off, it was an absolutely amazing time. Doug put on a incredibly good show yet again. I know we had more people attend than last year. It was a nice venue, though I liked the venue last year. This one was a little bit larger, gave people a little bit more room to breathe. We had a couple more vendor booths and tables and stuff. We obviously had Cutlass Crusades, Race of Legends, mini Race of Legends, which is hilarious because last year we actually built like a little wooden pool that was on a couple of sawhorses outside, and just walked next to it with a little fan. This time we actually used the hotel pool, and it was absolutely hilarious. We had one of the folks, one of the awesome cosplays from last year and this year, dressed as Stitcher Jim this year, go and get in an inner tube and was actually causing like waves and storms and like knocking boats around. It was absolutely fun. They had a remote control megalodon that was swimming around going after ships. It was really cool. And just a lot of great people, right? Like I said, my hand was sometimes getting a little cramped because so many people wanted me to sign things, which I said I was happy to do, and I signed a lot of skateboards. Push and Wood was there selling amazing, beautiful Sea of Thieves skateboards, and I signed a lot of those and things like that. So again, appreciate everyone who was there and had a blast. The after party was fun. I know a lot of folks enjoyed the both PG and not PG toasts that we did. If you've been on my stream, you've probably heard a couple of those. But a lot of people enjoyed that, got a lot of good laughs. But we had an absolute blast. And like I said, Doug did an amazing job. But one of the highlights, and thankfully I just got to sit there and enjoy it just like a fan. I didn't actually have to host it or anything because we had Hitbo host it, was the Rare panel. I got it all set up, talked to Mike and Shelley and Andy right at the beginning when we had about 30 minutes set up. So I was talking to them about the game and the event and everything just before we brought it up on the big screen and let Hitbo take it over. But it was nice to talk to Mike. It was funny because I had a camera set up so that they could see the audience, and I had a little microphone set up so they could hear the reaction of the crowd. And what was hilarious was I had just dialed in to the conference call, and all you could see was the back of my head and like my shoulders. And immediately Mike Chapman's like, "Hey, Davrim, how you doing, man? It's been a while." I was just like, how does the back of my head, like, it was just so nice. And it was great. I know, like I always say, I criticize Rare a lot, but it's just because of the love that I have for this game and wanting it to be better. But it's always nice to talk to Mike and Shelley and Andy, and I got to talk to them in person at the first SOT Fest, but I really haven't talked to Mike aside from some interactions on Twitter since then. So it was nice to see him. It was nice to talk to him. And kind of share that amazing event. He was so hyped. They were all so hyped. They went into the studio. It wasn't live stream. That was part of the agreement. I think Doug plans to get a copy of the recording of it and send that out on a YouTube feed for folks to watch. As soon as I see that get posted, sorry, I don't have enough energy drink in me. As soon as I see that get posted, I'll bring it up on the show so you guys can go check it out where it is. But we did record it, and the idea is once some edits get done to it, it'll be out on YouTube somewhere, and people can go and check out the Rare panel, because it was absolutely awesome. Like Mike shared a lot of cool information. Andy and Shelley weighed in on a lot of stuff that they've been working on. And it was a great experience for everyone to kind of hear directly from the studio, right? Because the studio goes to SOTFest. It's right in their back door. It's easy. International traveling is much harder. It's obviously, with the amount of folks that are at Rare that show up for SOTFest, that's easy. They drive. If they want to go on a weekend, they just drive or get a train or something right over there, and they're good to go. International flying is expensive. Obviously, I'm sure for some folks, the studio would cover that cost for, but in general, it would probably be on the folks to pay for themselves, and it's expensive to fly internationally. It's why I haven't been at SOTFest last year. This year. Last year was something just completely just crazy and just a miscommunication, misunderstanding on my part and SOTFest part, but whatever. This year it was just too expensive. It was honestly just too expensive for me to go over there. So hopefully, again, I will be back over there in the next year. That's the goal, is to be back over there next year. But yeah, so it was nice to talk to Andy and Shelley and Mike, and we got a lot of good information from them. I know that Andy and would talk quite a bit about Hourglass and things like that. It needs love, right? I mean, here's the thing. There's a lot of folks that have kind of, in my opinion, just given up on Hourglass, me included, because it's not fun to dive and then immediately just get dumpstered on. Dive, get the same group again. Dive, get another group who's sweaty and dumpsters on you. Dive, get one of those two groups again. It's just not fun, right? It's look. I don't have any problem losing, right? I have no problem losing if it's a good fight. But if I appear, and I'm taking cheaters and exploiters and hackers out of it because that's not avoidable. Like, well, they're trying to work on it, but they've got a long way to go on easy cheat. But the hackers and stuff, that is not the experience that I'm talking about. That's when that happens, just sit down and give up. But like when I'm talking about legit fights against other players who are not using hacks, not using exploits, and are just damn good. I am not good at video games. I am not. There's a reason I play EverQuest, which is a game that came out in 1999 and is pretty simple, right? I'm good at that. Why? Because it's simple. Sea of Thieves is a complicated game. It's not as complicated as some other ones, but it's a complicated game which requires, good eye-hand coordination, and I suck at all that. I just enjoy the game and I enjoy playing it, so I'm going to continue to play it and make a fool out of myself. But in things like League of Legends and Overwatch and even in Destiny 2, when it comes to their competitive PvP, not talking trials, but their competitive PvP, there's a good MMR system set up where you're not going to get paired with someone who's just going to trash you. And I think that is where Sea of Thieves is struggling, because they lost so many people early to Hourglass because of the sweaty sweats, the really skilled players who just dumpstered on people. And then the players are just like, oh, this isn't fun to me, right? This isn't fun to log in and just get destroyed. I can't improve. I can't learn because I'm just popping out of the sea and I'm dead. Like, I'm destroyed because these guys are so awesome on cannons and snipers and boarding. It's just not fun. So I think they lost a lot of players. I would be curious the percentage of players that are actually playing Hourglass right now. And the reason I say that is obviously they shut down the arena because it was less than 1%. I don't think Hourglass is anywhere near that low right now. I think Hourglass is still a very popular game mode for a good chunk of people, but I would say if you look at Hourglass's overall trajectory since it launched, I would say it's a very sharp downward arrow. And Andy talked about that a little bit on the panel, and he's like, yeah, I think we do need to give it some love. And I think what they're doing is trying to figure out how to give it love, how to invigorate the Hourglass. And I think personally, my opinion is you have to make it like, I understand queue times are long and people get irritated with longer queue times, but if you ask me, what you have to do is you have to put the stick in the ground and you have to make a setting. I will match with anyone, or I only want to match with people in my skill, right? And therefore, if you sit there for an hour, 2 hours, you can go sail around, who cares? Obviously, if you're diving, it's a little different, but like it needs to be able to calculate that and be like, okay, your skill level is dirt tier. It's going to take you 3 to 4 hours to find a match. Do you still want to continue, or would you like to switch and pair with anyone? And give the player that choice, right? Yes, players are still going to bitch about long queue times, but if you actually pop up and give them the choice of, look, it's going to be 4 hours minimum before we find someone that is in your skill gap or your skill grouping. Would you just like to pair with the first available? And if you say yes, well, then you're agreeing to get shit on, or you're agreeing to maybe get lucky and find someone that you can beat. But if you at least give the players the choice, I think that's a little bit more palatable. I also think maybe the diving feature, like the defense when someone attacks is one thing. I think in the diving feature, it would be nice that you can continue to sail around, not in the tunnels, and you can continue to sail around and do things. And it gives you a warning, like you will dive in 30 seconds. You will dive in 10 seconds, 15, and it'll count down. And no matter what you're doing, whatever you're in the middle of, when it hits 0, boom, you dive beneath the waves and then reappear at your fight to allow people not to sit in the tunnels for a long time. I know that's a lot to ask and that's a lot of extra development, but I think they need to do things to give players things to do while they're diving. You need to give things to players that they feel like they have a chance to win. The whole quicker queue time but miserable battle experience, I think that's just going to push people away. I think it already has pushed people away. The sentiment in the room when they were talking about Hourglass really was, we want to play Hourglass. We would like to get the Skeleton Curse. Heck, in this season 13, several commendations revolve around you having the Skeleton Curse. I don't have it, so I can't even do those commendations because I don't have the Skeleton Curse. And I have no interest right now in getting the Skeleton Curse because I just get frustrated pairing up against the same crews and getting dumpstered on all day. And oh well, Davrim, play more, get better. Well, I don't want to play more because the servers suck. So, it's one of those things that I don't want to burn out on the game because I'm getting frustrated because of bad server stability. I need to play more to get better at PvP so I don't get shit on all the time in Hourglass. But it's all a double-edged sword where I could queue an Hourglass, I could get shit on, get frustrated, and stop playing. I could go do PvP, try and learn and get better, and just get pissed off at the servers and still quit because I don't want to deal with shitty servers. It's rough right now, and Rare even talked about that. They play the game every single week. And in fact, Mike talked about playing like every Saturday, playing Sea of Thieves and things like that. Like, they play the game. And I'm not talking about just at the studio. They go home and they play the game. And they all admitted that the servers and the performance of the game is not good. But they also mentioned, because a question was asked, they cannot just turn off development of everything else and pause and work on fixes. So, what are they going to do? Because obviously you can't just say, well, our servers suck, but we can't stop and fix them because we got stuff to do. That would not be a good answer. But Mike did have an answer. A while back, they formed, Destiny 2 formed a PvP committee, I believe. But Rare talked about kind of a strike force of such on things. And Mike let us know that the strike force revolving around server performance is forming up. So it is in the process right now of actually forming. And what this team is going to be is their only focus, their only job. It's not new content, it's not new cosmetics, not new music, it's not any of that. Their focus, how to clean up the code and make the servers stable. So how do you do that? And that's their only job. That's it. Their job is to make the game perform better. Make the servers perform better, right? They're using Azure servers, right? The Microsoft cloud-based servers. That's what they're using. There's only so much you can do with that, but other Microsoft studios are also using that servers and not struggling with the same game issues, same stability issues as Sea of Thieves. So what can Rare do? Rare has to figure out on their side how to make it work. So this team that Mike announced is forming up now, and it's going to be responsible for working and making sure that the servers become better and more stable. It's still going to take time. It's unfortunate because we've had to deal with this for so long. It's going to take time, but they are committed to doing this, and I hope it works out. They've put focus behind things in the past and it's worked out. I just really hope that they can figure this out and get it going. So that was an exciting thing to hear, especially with how long we've had to deal with bad server performance. A couple other things that I thought were interesting. Ice Zone. So if you're a fan of Captain Falcor, he's made jokes about Ice Zone confirmed for a long time. And what was really interesting is Mike didn't hold back. Mike let us know that, yes, in fact, they were planning on doing an ice zone. In fact, they have concept art for it. They had mechanics worked out for it. They had a whole dev board worked out for an ice zone. In fact, to the point where we actually saw the cosmetics for the ice zone getting released, the Frozen Horizon stuff and that thing. that was all made for the ice zone. That was all supposed to be cosmetics tied to the ice zone. It just, because of Monkey Island and Pirate's Life, it wasn't something that unfortunately got prioritized because they had other larger projects that they were working on that they thought would make a bigger splash than an ice zone. Um, but it's really cool because it sounds like there's a lot of, maybe not code to computer done yet, but at least a lot of concept, a lot of mechanics, a lot of whiteboarding done for an ice zone that could be brought to the game at some point in the future. I mean, they talked about wanting to be able to expand the actual playable area, right, of the game to the west, to the south. To the north, you have the Crystal Fortress, from the Pirate's Life Tall Tales. To the east, you have the Devil's Roar. But to the south, you've got nothing. To the west, you have nothing. And even in the north, there's a lot of open space up there. But really, to the east and to the south, there's really nothing there. And Mike said specifically that, yeah, they would really like to expand the world down there. It's just making sure that if they do, they've got the ancient isles and the shores of plenty. They've got the the Devil's Roar. They've got all these areas, and each area has to be unique. Each area as you sail through it feels different. The colors are different. The trees are different. The plants are different. So they want to make sure that when they bring something new out, that there is a different biome or a different feel to that area. And I wouldn't say we would see this probably in the next 6 months. I doubt we would see it in the next year, but it is exciting to know that they are looking to expand the world, the open world, to a larger space, and potentially adding a new biome. And it sounds like they've got a lot of good concept art and mechanics already worked up for an ice zone. So that would be kind of cool. One of the things that I love helming a ship. I don't do it too much anymore because we have the lovely Mina Ferry who drives our ship quite a bit. But I love helming the ship. I love making really tight, quote unquote, impossible maneuvers around things. And one of the things Mike mentioned was in the ice zone, they wanted these tall ice like caverns that you have to kind of like, if you remember in Pirates of the Caribbean, at World's End, when they're sailing through those ice tunnels and they're really steep ice walls on either side, and they've got to make these turns through these like walls of ice. He kind of talked about that, and kind of like that's the vision he has. Like you're almost sailing through a glacier type thing, and that sounds really cool to me. That sounds like some really cool stuff could happen. Some really cool like ship ambushes could happen where you jump off and you kind of wait in a blind spot, grab a ladder, or somehow like anchor turn your boat, and so when the boat that's chasing you or whatever turns the blind corner, you just unload into them with a full broadside. Like, I think there's a lot of cool stuff and cool moments that could be for that. So that was really cool to hear. Mike also went into talking about the seasonal cycle. I was on a panel, or I did two panels. One was the history and memories of Sea of Thieves, and the other one was that one had Captain Logan, Shumba, and Copper on it. And then I also did one which was the future of Sea of Thieves, and that had Ophi and Pushin' Wood, and Captain McErie and World of Shap on it. And in the future of Sea of Thieves panel, one of the questions I asked was, if you had a seat at the table and we talked about the seasonal progression of the game, what would you change or not change, or what is working or not working with the seasonal structure? And in general, everyone thought the seasonal structure was good because on both panels, because it's giving us consistent updates there, except for one exception. They're really strongly sticking to the timelines. They're able to kind of build out their updates, and it kind of goes off of how they ran their updates in that first year or two. Now, it's not perfect, and they've got a lot of work to do, but Mike went into some detail about how they're trying to kind of tighten up and shore up their seasonal updates. And that is, it's on a cycle. And that cycle is, one season is going to give us tools. The next season is going to give us new stuff. So last season, throwing knives, double barrel pistol. This season, new world event, skeletal camps. Next season, harpoon guns, right? New tools. And then the next season would be some sort of new event type stuff. So it was really neat to get that kind of behind the scenes look at what their plans were, or how they were actually kind of building these seasons. So that's what you can look forward to in the future. Is every other season is going to be a season of tools, new weapons, and they did say more new weapons are coming. Obviously, we've got the harpoon gun already announced, but new weapons are coming. And then a season of new stuff to do, right? So that's kind of, think about that, all you accommodation grinders out there. You're going to be getting them on a relatively consistent basis. Obviously, the tools commendations are not as hard because they're usually just kill things, do things. But every other one, you're going to get a big, like burning blade style event one. So, but that was really interesting to get that kind of behind the scenes. We hadn't heard them really talk about that cycle. We can kind of see it, but we hadn't actually heard them confirm it, right? And Mike said it feels really good at the studio as they're working on developing this, as they're working on having the different teams work on their particular pieces, 6 to 9 months ahead of time, right? Because a lot of people who don't necessarily understand the way the devs work, you've got teams who are divided across what they're working on, right? So we're in season 13 right now. There's already a team right now finishing, like literally finishing up season 14. There's a team probably mid development in season 15. There's another team probably beginning development of season 16. And there's probably a special team out there that's working on the next big thing, like Pirate's Life and stuff like that. So like that's kind of what's going on in the back end. So it's really interesting that we kind of really learned that seasonal cycle and what they're working on, because that means if every other season's tools and every other season's like content stuff, they can really focus on masters of what they do, right? So you find some people who are really passionate about the tools and introducing new weapons and things like that, and you put them on the team who every other season they're releasing new tools and new things. And then you've got folks who are really good at lore and story and that kind of stuff. And you kind of put them on the team who's focused on that new stuff every other season. And then you've got this really cool, masters of their craft design team, development team that's just cycling over and over and over and over again, and really getting to utilize their skills and their strong suits. So I'm anxious to see how they do with this. I'm anxious to see how the performance team plays into this, and I'm really honestly looking forward to the future of how they're going to clean up and continue to develop this game, because the excitement on Mike and Andy and Shelley's faces when they got to see all the people who were in the room, to see them, to get their questions answered by them. Hitbo did a fantastic job, as he always does. That was the first time he actually got to interview someone, and he did an absolutely fantastic job. Added a lot of comedic value, and we just had a good time. So again, thank you to the Rare Studio. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Shelley, for taking that time, coming in on a Saturday in the evening, 6 p.m. your time, going into the studio and spending over an hour, almost 2 hours with the setup time with me and Hitbo and the rest of them. The energy that you guys brought, just took our little event to the next level, and I really, really appreciate you guys taking that time. So whenever Mike, I know you listen, whenever you guys hear this, again, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. It was a great time. Everyone enjoyed it. Thank you, and hopefully next year we'll see you guys in person. Speaking of amazing people, let's give our shout out to our wonderful, our glorious and notorious patrons of this content, this podcast, and all of my content. So thank you, Big Bad Pad, Elcute, iGifus, and Skemelt 666. Thank you guys for continuing to support my content. I really, really appreciate it. If any of you out there would like to join the Patreon, get the episode up to a day early. You can go check out patreon.com/DavrimTV. All that money goes to helping me get to places, to shows. It helps me upgrade things in the studio. It helps me to pay for the hosting of this show, etc., etc., etc. And you get cool perks like Discord perks and access to the guild. And if you're at a certain tier, you get a Christmas card. And actually this year, I know we're like 6 months away from Christmas, but I'm just letting you guys know this year, and I don't know if I have one. Let me see. I might have one right here. Let's see here. Let's see if I've got one. Two. So this year, for the patrons who get the Christmas card, and if you're not watching this on YouTube, I will try to explain what this is. This is known as it's a parachute tag. It clips onto your bag, but they are really strong pieces of like fabric with a really nice hook on them. And on the front, they're going to be black with green lettering. You're going to get a black tag here that you can hook on a bag or a suitcase. It's going to say Pirate Talk Radio on the front in green, and it's actually going to have your gamer tag on the back, or whatever your gamer tag is that you've provided me that I read off each and every week. So that will be part of the Christmas card this year. I always get everyone who are at a certain tier. You can check out those tiers, patreon.com/DavrimTV. You can, once you get the Christmas card tier, you can now get this this year. So that will be my gift to you along with the Christmas card. So make sure you check that out. Make sure if you would like this nice little clippy thing and your Christmas card, make sure you get over there and get to your tier, because I believe you have to be at that tier for at least 2 months to get the Christmas card. So you got some time, but time is running out. Right. So let's go on to the patch notes. Again, next week, we'll talk about my experiences. I want to get another couple hours of playtime in before I dive too deeply into my initial thoughts and feelings of this. So this week we will discuss just the patch notes and what I feel about what came in or whatever in the patch notes. So first off, if you want to read because we're not going to go through all the patch notes, there's a lot. But if you want to go through the entire patch, line by line, you can go to seaofthieves.com/release-notes, and you can see all of the release notes. We're just going to hit the highlights of things that I thought needed to be called out. So first off, we all know the Burning Blade. The Burning Blade is a world event. So if you want the Burning Blade to spawn, and we confirmed this yesterday, you don't just go around and do the skeletal rituals, right? You actually have to complete world events. The Burning Blade spawns at Reaper's Hideout and takes sail with a skeletal crew. When it spawns, there's a giant red tornado. Now, while the Burning Blade is out, you can do two things to it. So one, you can attack it. Once you defeat the skeletons on board, you can pledge yourself in the captain's quarters and claim it for yourself, or you can choose to sink it. If you choose to sink it, a whole bunch of treasure will come up. If you choose to claim it, it is yours. It is yours until it gets sunk. To plunder the seas as you wish. There is a chest of fortune located in the basement of the Burning Blade. Yes, you can board the ship, steal the chest of fortune, and leave. That is 100% doable. You can do it. So, just so you know. So the Burning Blade is the new big thing, the new big event. There's a lot of commendations surrounding it, and like the skeletal camps and stuff like that. So make sure you check that out under your pirate log and build your atch. And it's the newest one there. I haven't got to play on the Burning Blade yet, so again, I got to board it before I was immediately one blundered by a sweaty sweat. So I got to board it, and that's as close as I've got. Skeletal camps, 6 total. So there are 3 in each of the the wilds, the shores of plenty, and the ancient isles. There is none in the Devil's Roar, which I think was a big mistake. I really think Rare needs to look at reasons to get people to explore the Devil's Roar. Obviously, the treasure, the increase in gold that you get in the Devil's Roar does not increase the amount of people to go out there, because ultimately it is a harder area to do. So I really think when they're releasing these new things, when they're releasing the new events, they really need to figure out ways to get the Devil's Roar engaged, because it is kind of a dead area out there. And I really wish they would have split these up and did 2 per area and maybe did 8 total. And then included the Devil's Roar in there as well. These are constellation puzzles, so kind of like the Stars of a Thief, bringing that kind of narrative back, where you basically go into the bottom of this the skeletal camp. There are some hidden journals that you have to find, so keep your eye out there. Some of them are a little challenging to find. I was able to find them all. It's a nice little, I won't tell you too many details, but it's they're notes about Briggsy. So a little bit more continuation on the Briggsy story. Some mention Suds and Tasha. So really cool little story there. Again, not going to spoil anything for those of you out there who have not had a chance to do it. But if you are a fan of Briggsy, Tasha, that kind of storyline, it is continued in the notes that you get in little bits. So that's happening. But you basically go down there and you solve a puzzle, and it's not really a tough puzzle. You get a couple symbols that you have to see, and then using this almost like a telescope that just shoots light, you have to find the constellations on this planetarium. Basically, you're basically inside of a underground planetarium, and you have to find them, light them up by tracing them, and then it starts several waves of skeletons that attack you. You kill the final captain, and a door opens, and in this door, if you are pledged to the Reapers, you can either choose to do the ritual and honor Flameheart, or if you are not, you can choose to stop the ritual, and you take the orb that's there with you, and you can sell it to the sovereigns or anyone. You can't sell it to the mysterious stranger for Athena, but you can just sell it to the sovereigns for gold. And so I think it's about 20 grand too. That's not that's when it's not under Golden Glory. So it's a decent, nice little prize. That is really the only thing that you get in there. There are some gold piles that you can unlock with some of the other, if you trace some of the other constellations that are on the wall. There are some gold piles, but really that is the only item. It's a very quick event, so it's not something that's going to take you a long time. I kind of lean towards, it's about the same length as a Spanish fort. It's very quick. It's very easy. If you just need to hop on, play, and get out, that's something that you can dive to. What I will tell you is, if you dive to them, you won't be able to get the orb. You'll get some trinkets instead. The only time you can get the orb is when you stay on the server and sail to one. Let's see here. The 6 camps are on relatively small. They're all small, but relatively unused islands. The islands had some purpose, and sometimes you got like a map there or whatever. But like Laguna Whispers, where Umbra is or was, that's one of the islands, so they're relatively small islands, and the skeletal camps look absolutely fantastic. The art team just really knocked this out of the water and made these look really cool. Like they're really the start of a fortress. I would have liked to see them add some upgrades to the Reaper's hideout, kind of beef that up a little bit, since that's kind of the throne of Flameheart now. I really wish they would have kind of built some more there, but I'm guessing that's probably coming in the future. If you are working on or have not finished the Umbra stuff or have not bought all of the tattoos for the lore of Sea of Thieves through Umbra, you can now find her at Sanctuary Outpost. That is where Umbra has been relocated. And actually, if you talk to her little voice lines, or not voice lines, but text lines around why she's in Sanctuary, it's kind of funny. So you should check that out. She thinks that a specific port is too busy. There's too many people it's an empty, never mind. Just go check out Umbra on Sanctuary. Emissary reward refresh. So they did say they were going to put a pause on the emissary rewards. It looks like they're keeping true to that. However, they did do a refresh. So guilds now have a new item that they can claim if you're in the top ledgers. And the trading companies also have a item, but it is a blast from the past that if you've been doing ledgers for a long time, it is something that you've already been able to get. So it does look like they're still putting a hold on the trading companies, but they did refresh the guild ones. But this is a great opportunity for anyone who has not got caught up on their ledgers or have missed ledger items in the past. This is a great opportunity for you to work on those and get your cosmetics filled up that you've missed in the past. For those of you who didn't complete or did not play during Season 6, the Season 6 Plunder Pass cosmetics are now available at the Outpost shops for doubloons. So you can check out the Outpost shops and get your Season 6 Plunder Pass cosmetics available there. Now, the thing that I really want to look at is the game improvements. There is quite a lot of game improvements. The majority of them I don't think matter, but there's a couple of them that I think are kind of important. First one, ship sync times have been reduced. So what's a ship sync time? So when your ship sinks, or a ship sinks, you hear the bell. Dong, right? You've sunk. But there is a period of time between the bell, your ship sinking beneath the waves, and eventually despawning and all the stuff floating to the top. During this time, there is a high chance of back spawns and things like that. What Rare has done is reduce the amount of time from ship bell dong to the time it despawns. So ships are going to sink beneath the waves and disappear much quicker, which means loot's going to rise up much quicker, and there's a less chance of a back spawn, which also gives the players who did sink a quicker opportunity to get back to a new ship and set sail again. So reducing that downtime in the unfortunate event that you sink. So I think this is a great thing. And this does also play into, it does also play into a few other things that have occurred with that longer gap between ship bell and despawn. There was a period of time, if your ship was sunk near an outpost, between the ship bell and the despawn, you had time to go lower the emissary flag. Now, the idea is once that ship bell hits, you are a sunk emissary and your flag is part of loot. However, that was not the case. If you sunk close enough to close enough to the emissary table or the outpost, you could actually run to the table between the time the ship bell rings and your ship despawns and lower that flag, collecting all of the gold and not giving or denying that particular thing, that particular high value treasure to the people who sunk you. That is now no longer possible. So not only does your ship from bell to despawn happen quicker, but now as soon as that bell rings, you are not allowed to lower your emissary flag anymore. So you cannot deny the loot of that flag to the crew who beat you just because you ran over there and wanted that. So no more lowering emissary flags. Nope, nope. Let's talk about bone collars. Bone collars are really cool, by the way. I really like using them. I wish I could get more of them, but I understand why they're limited. So for all you Tuckers out there, bone color skeletons will now no longer find you when you're in the hide emote. So Tuckers, rejoice. You can't be found in the hide emote. You can also, as a Tucker, now kind of manipulate those bone colors a little bit. So if you are seen by one of the bone color skeletons and you run and you are able to successfully break line of sight, initiate and complete the hide emote, the skeletons will not find you. You can also break your hide emote, make some noise by firing some guns up into the air. The skeletons will hear that and move towards the sound. If you reinitiate the hide emote, they will move to where the sound was and begin patrolling that area. So if you want to kind of cause some distractions, maybe get your buddies on board because everyone hears the gunshots and sees the skeletons moving, there's some options there. So some cool new kind of AI adjustments that you can do now to kind of play with those bone colors if you're an enemy player. Let's see here. The frozen water bug has been fixed according to Rare. So I know there was some server performance, game performance issues, which was causing people to basically look out. Their ship's moving, but the water is just frozen in time. That has since been resolved. And they've also done some work on reducing crashing. So I know people have been really having issues, a lot of conversation about this at Festive Legends from people, just really having a miserable time trying to get a play session in by themselves or with friends, and they just crash constantly. They're just crash. And that's just not fun. All right. That's just not a good time. So according to this, they've improved that. Now, that doesn't mean they fixed it. And I can tell you they haven't fixed it completely because we had one of our party members crashed yesterday while playing. It was near the end, so it's not a big deal, but someone did crash yesterday. Definitely not at the frequency that was crashing, but the crashing is still happening. It's just reduced. And then finally, the last big call out that I have here is silent boarding. And I put silent boarding fixed with a question mark because they have tried to fix silent boarding many times and it usually gets broken pretty quickly. So I'm anxious to see if this actually has been truly resolved. So according to them, you can no longer hold out an item, may it be your gun, may it be your sword, maybe it be a banana, whatever, and cancel out the noise of boarding the enemy ship or boarding a ship, which is good. That is a very important thing that should be in the game. That is not, I know a lot of people think that, quick swapping and stuff like that's a skill thing. Look, silent boarding is not supposed to be in the game. That is an unintended feature, i.e. it's an exploit and it shouldn't be in the game. Rare has said that multiple times that it shouldn't be in the game. It is not a skill thing. It is literally not supposed to be in the game. Just like quick swapping, but that's another topic for another day. The other piece that they changed, and this honestly might make some people happy who think that silent boarding is a skill thing. Another thing is, well, they've also changed the sound of boarding. So now you have to be in the vicinity of the ladder to actually hear the boarder grab the ladder. If you're way off in the front of the boat or you're way off somewhere else, there's a good chance you're not going to hear that. So in order to hear the sound of the boarder, you are going to have to be in the vicinity of that ladder. So it's a little bit more spatial awareness than it was before. So it's not a complete, thing. If, people are hanging out duck spotting on the front of a galleon, you might get away with a silent board just because, well, it's not silent. They're just out of earshot of it. So they did make some adjustments there. Overall, did not see too many adjustments as far as server performance. And I can tell you when I played yesterday, I could still feel it. The servers were not great. I won't say they were atrocious, horrible, bad. I wanted to punch a wall, but they were not in a place where I would say I'm satisfied with really increasing my time played per week, because in my opinion, they're still in a very bad spot. So we will see how they continue to go. Obviously, I don't expect any sort of patch coming up anytime soon since we just got this update, but we will see. We will see. I would not expect a large patch for any additional fixes or performance things for at least a month. But we are now in season 13. Please leave me something in the comments. Pop in the Discord. Drop me a line on Twitter or an email. All that contact information is under the show notes. So please drop me something. What is your favorite feature so far that you've experienced in season 13? So far, I would have to say the skeletal camps are my favorite right now. Again, haven't got to play with the burden blade too much. I got to watch one nail a sloop with the big flamethrower, which was cool, but I haven't actually got to play too much on that. So let me know, what is your favorite feature so far of season 13? Are you happy with this season? What are you feeling like they missed? Guys, as always, thank you very much. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you next time on Pirate Talk Radio.